Okay.
Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series. We sure are excited to be here tonight for the Charles Shaw 250 on Saturday. Now, of course, this will be ramping up the, I do believe, Saturday Cup Series. Of course, the Super Cup Series has just gotten started, and I hate to say it, Big Al, it's going to be a little bit of a anticlimactic race here when you think about it when it comes to the points in the championship. We'll go ahead and bring those up. Looking right now at the points, Big Al, as you can see, Chris Rivera has 106 over Jose Acosta at the moment. That's quite a insurmountable gap, of course, but I'll tell you what, there still will be racing for that second place position on the points there to conclude this Cup season here. Jose Acosta and Kenny Powell going to be battling out. They're right there on top of each other here in points. Of course, Jose Acosta, if you remember, Big Al, actually won on Thursday. But how are you doing this evening, Big Al?
Hey, doing outstanding, Brian. Excited to be here once again, back in Vegas, baby, trying to get it done.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting one as well. Of course, not as many drivers here tonight, but it looks like we have had a last-minute joiner. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, 11 going to be trying to conquer Las Vegas, and very interesting racing here at this place. A lot of nuance to it, wouldn't you say? I mean, when it comes to tire wear.
Yeah, we definitely got to see a little bit of that on Thursday. Definitely going to probably see the same thing tonight. Drivers are going to be definitely trying to conserve as much as they can if they want to be available to be able to be fast for the long haul.
And just while we have a moment here, let's take a look at the actual Super Cup season, which has just gotten started. Of course, we've had 2 races thus far. Chris Rivera, of course, has clutched, I do believe, the Cup Series title, but he has not clutched the Super Cup. Still a long road to go there. He still is at the top of the board with 105 points, just over Kendall LeBron by just a couple, actually. Of course, 3rd place, Jose Acosta. 4th place, Kenny Powell. 5th place, Greg Wyszynski. 6th, Al Kozlowski. 7th, Darren Mullins. 8th, Joey Preby. Of course, Preby actually was suspended for this week. Of course, don't want to alienate him or anything like that. Just going with the facts here. 9th place, Clayton Hoffman. Don't see him, I don't believe, in the field here. We'll have to wait and see. But last-minute joiner we were talking about is Josh Schaffner, so glad to see him out here. Of course, 10th place in the points, Frank Flores. He's out there and going to be wanting to get some good points. We actually watched him in a race with another league recently, and he did very well there, so I expect a lot from him tonight as well. A little bit of a new thing we have here as well is the Super Cup Series team standings. This is kind of new, Big Al, to see exactly where the teams are stacking up. Of course, G&G at the top of the board at the moment, but not by much over Team Watson Racing Setups, who, of course, is Kendall LeBron, the sole driver there for that team. Panaretta Racing, of course, Jose Acosta there in 3rd. And 4th place Bull Ring Racing, and I do believe that is Derek Jacobs, Darren Mullins, and Randy Mullins, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Joey Preby in 5th in the points. I love to be have that ability to actually look into that, Big Al, to kind of see where the team standings are, because this is as much as a team sport as it's individual. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially some tracks that we race, you definitely see the need to have teammates. And it's always good to have guys around that you can kind of bounce ideas off, especially during the week when you're actually preparing and training for this event.
Well, it looks like everybody is getting gridded up. We're running a little bit behind here. We have some technical difficulties, but we're going to go ahead and play our national anthem, and we'll be right back with the gridding order.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engine!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tough, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Alrighty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for this evening's action. Chris Severa going to qualify on the pole with Jose Acosta qualifying outside pole. Kenny Powell starts in third with Kendall LeBron in fourth place. Fifth place, Paul Olson. Darren Mullen starts in sixth. Seventh place going to be Frank Flores with Greg Wachinski qualified eighth. Ninth place, Josh Schaffner. Chris Johnson rounds out our top 10. And, of course, rounding out our 11-car field is Derek Jacobs. Definitely going to be an exciting one here for sure. As, of course, we have a lot of in-car cameras as well tonight, Big Al. Can't wait to showcase that. Of course, do want to talk a little bit more about the race facts here. We do have 164 laps in front of us for stages at 35 and 75, just like Thursday. But here we go, getting ready for the green flag, and the green flag is out for the first time tonight in the Charles Shaw 250. Everybody wasting no time. Chris Severa already down to the apron, gets a little bit loose. That could check up some of his momentum, but it looks like he does get clear for the lead.
It's a correction. This is scheduled for 167 laps. You said 164.
I appreciate that correction there, Big Al. Definitely important to note for sure. As we do see some side-by-side racing further back is Josh Schaffner, of course, a late entry to the event here tonight. I do believe side-by-side with Derek Jacobs at the moment. Love the qualifying position we saw from Paul Olson, qualifying inside the top five. I think that, might be a first for him. Greg Wachinski showed a lot of significant speed, I'd say, on Thursday as well. So I expect a lot of big things from him. But look at Chris Severa go. I mean, he's already out to almost 0.8 of a second at the moment, Big Al. That is a long way away, especially here at Las Vegas, as Kenny Powell actually goes to the inside of Jose Acosta and takes second place over. Now, this is important. We talked about it, Big Al, how these guys are racing for that second place spot in the Cup Series season.
Yep, still a lot of racing left to go, though. And I think Jose, coming off of a win here Thursday night, he kind of has a pretty good idea of what he has to do to get it done. What he has to do to get it done.
I'm sure he knows exactly what he's got to do. We'll go ahead and take a view here. You see Kenny Powell up on your screen, actually looking at his camera as he has Jose Acosta right there behind him following. You probably definitely see the focus that's on that man's face.
Now, if you look and you'll see everybody is really kind of single filed out here, Brian. That's something we didn't see on Thursday. We saw a lot of two wide racing, but tonight here, I think these guys have kind of got the idea that, hey, look, we're just going to have to kind of get in line and just kind of try to see what we can do. The only exception to that rule seems to be the 62 of Severa, as he is really starting to kind of run away with this thing a little bit, right?
That he is. And of course, we also have a camera from Chris Severa. Get to see him up on your screen, as of course he is always the focused guy out there for sure. Up to almost actually over a second and a half right now, and that's unheard of. We haven't seen that before here at Vegas thus far, and I'm wondering, is he burning his equipment up? And usually with Chris Severa, that is not the case. So I'm not sure what to think here, Big Al.
Maybe he's just got her handling good. Maybe he's just risking it. What's he really got to lose? I mean, he's got over 100-point lead to second place, which these two guys here that are in second and third are fighting for that position, like you said earlier. So, yeah, run, Chris, run.
Do you see Kendall LeBron starting to push the issue a little bit here on Jose Acosta? Of course, we mentioned before that Jose was Thursday's night winner, and of course that was a stacked field in of itself. So I definitely expect a lot of strong things from that 42. But I think the 28 also has shown some really some glimpses of brilliance. Just considering, I mean, second place in the Super Cup Series points at the moment, and of course last season in the Super Cup. Or in the Cup Series. I mean, we saw Kendall LeBron have a lot of bad luck. Here comes Greg Wachinski, though, to the inside of Darren Mullins. Darren Mullins sporting a little bit different of a paint scheme. Of course, still has the Ram all over that race car, but definitely interesting to see more of a red and black scheme tonight.
Yeah, definitely. He's riding with Greg Wachinski there. Those two guys kind of look a little red on red there.
Yeah, a little bit of red on red crime.
Yeah, here comes Josh Schaffner, who started kind of in the back, I do believe.
Well, we do know that tire wear is significant here. 4 sets of tires going to be down in the pits for these guys to use. We talked about the stages, 35 and 75. Well, of course, they will be taking tires on the end of these stages, and it's going to be very important to save them as much as you can. We saw that play out a lot on Thursday when guys having longer runs, guys burning them up early.
Yeah, these guys don't want to do anything that's going to take them out of contention here tonight, Brian. So drivers definitely, I don't think, with the exception of Chris Severa, I don't really think anybody can afford to be too risky. Now, if everybody plays their cards right and they're all good little boys, they'll all at least run out of here with a couple of stage points and even possibly a top 10 finish here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And I do want to mention something that Kenny Powell actually has added to the ISCA website is the ISCA Hall of Fame, Big Al. And guess who's has the most championships so far in the ISCA's history? Chris Severa with 5 now. This would be his 5th, I do believe.
And he doesn't seem to be showing any signs of slowing, Brian.
No, not at all. Of course, he always puts a lot of work into these races, as we see Kendall LeBron and John Schaffner duking it out side by side. Almost some contact. Kendall has to let out of the gas and falls back a little bit here. He almost lost it. And we've seen that a lot, trying to avoid getting into an accident with someone else.
I think there was a little bit of contact there.
Well, Josh Schaffner, he is on the move. Contact with the wall from Darren Mullins. Luckily, these cars are fairly tough. They can take some contact, but Darren Mullins comes down to the bottom to try to see if he can't get a little bit of a side draft on that 50, door to door, as they get ready to cross the line for lap 14. And Chris Severa is pulling away. I almost think he's cheating, Big Al. How does he almost have a 4-second lead at the moment? I mean, that is just unheard of at a 1.5-mile racetrack.
Well, that is kind of a pretty good run that he's having. Also interesting to note, Brian, there are approximately 9 Camaros in this field tonight. 1 Camry and 1 Mustang. That Camry is being driven by the 24 Kenny Powell. He currently finds himself in 2nd place. And that old Ford Mustang, driven by Chris B. Johnson, currently finding himself in 10th place.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, of course, on Thursday had a fantastic run. Of course, this was not able to put together an entire race. I remember that accident with Greg Wachinski led to a big pileup on Thursday that took Chris Johnson out of contention, even though he led laps, and I do believe won Stage 2 on Thursday. So I'm sure he's going to be wanting to have much better luck here this evening as we see the camera on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Schaffner having to wheel that car a lot. You can even see it on your screen at the moment. You got a camera view right to where he is. You can see his equipment, him having to wrangle that wheel. Love this view that we get from these drivers. Oh, and there it is.
Sideways. Made contact there. Looks like that was Darren Mullins. Josh was not cleared, I don't believe.
And, of course, we actually got a in-camera view of Josh Schaffner during the accident, so that is awesome that we have that ability to show that. So let's take a look back and see exactly what just took place. We take a look back here. Darren Mullins, of course, is on the bottom. Kind of hard to see it from that angle. We'll take a different view here.
Schaffner's planting some corn down there in that infield.
That he is. He definitely is. And, of course, luckily there was not a whole lot of contact. Could have been a whole lot worse. But here we go. We see Josh Schaffner, of course, up on the top side. Darren Mullins getting a good run through the exit. Oh, he slides up. I thought Schaffner might have cleared himself, but Mullins got loose.
Yep, Mullins got loose and just slid right up into Schaffner. Man, that's just an unfortunate set of circumstances.
Take a look at this through the cockpit camera here of Darren Mullins as he's underneath the 50. You can see that. I'm looking at this wheel. Look at that. Big wheel movements there. He was trying to counter steer and counter steered up into Josh Schaffner there.
Looked like he had a couple Quirtrons right there. He got loose in the steering.
You definitely hate to see that for sure, but Schaffner, I do believe, will live to fight another day along with Darren Mullins. Looks like we have some guys going down pit road here, which is the 64 of Darren Mullins. Also, Derek Jacobs took a trip down pit road. I do believe Chris Johnson as well.
Not a bad call, Brian, because I'm going to tell you what this is going to do for these guys. When they do actually come back down the pit road for that stage break, these guys aren't going to have to spend as much time pumping gas in. And that's going to make them a little bit fast, especially if they say elect to maybe not take tires. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it, but now, that's the only thing I had.
Now, I know that, Schaffner, of course, spun out there, and it makes sense that he took tires. Did everybody else take tires?
Looking at the times in the box, Darren Mullins was really down for 25.3 seconds. Chris Johnson just 6.7.
So that is indicative of just a fuel-only stop there, and that makes a lot of sense to do that, I'd say.
Yeah, that's less time. You're still going to have the penalty of getting tires, but as quick as you can get out of there with the tires, you'll be on the run versus guys still having to pump a little bit of gas in.
Well, isn't this something, though, Big Al? You know, on Thursday, I think we only had the one caution based on an incident, if I'm not mistaken. Tonight, been a little bit different, even though we have fewer cars. Maybe that somewhat intensifies these guys' need to get up to the front here.
But what it really did, though, is just negated all of the work that Chris Rivera had put into this thing thus far. So we're going to see exactly how much he is going to have left on those good years, as he has now been wrangled back in by by the great eight, we should say.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. He had driven away. Didn't really see whether he was being caught there towards the end of that little bit of a stint. So we'll have to wait to see how that kind of turns out. Of course, we won't have to wait long, just considering the pace car lights are out. We're leaving the backstretch, entering turn 3 at the moment. But definitely a lot of excitement out here. A lot of guys definitely looking to possibly get their first win, even with, you know, with a lower size field. It's a little bit less daunting of a task, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the odds are more in your favor. I think you got a 1 in 11 chance of winning here tonight.
And I'm telling you, at Vegas, I kind of like those odds. As the green flag is back out in the air once again.
Severa kind of goosed Powell, kind of got Powell sleeping a little bit. That's really going to check up that outside line. It's going to allow the 42 of Jose Acosta to go ahead and get a run down on the inside. That's going to be able to work in his benefit as he is now closing the distance there to Severa.
And look at Severa dropping down low on the backstretch to try to see if he can't break that draft of that 42. And I think it might be working. I don't know, though. Jose closes it in a little bit here. Josh Schaffner hits the ground running even after his issue. He's up to 5th right now.
Yeah, he's actually making up for all of the ground that he lost. Good to see, though, that no harm, no foul, no damage to his car. He's actually able to continue to run. We need that for the numbers especially.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, Josh Schaffner, one of the guys that wins quite a few of these races, always places well, very consistent. If anybody can come up here and duel with Chris Severa, I think it would be that 50. But I'll tell you what, I mean, Jose's doing pretty good here, keeping right up here with the 62. Maybe he did burn a little bit of that equipment up. Or is the draft really paying or rewarding these guys behind him?
Yeah, that's some pretty fast cars back there behind him. So Kendall LeBron being one of the fastest, be interesting to see if he's actually able to work his way around Jose and get up to Severa. Severa not having his way with the crowd this way as he did earlier, the first part of this stage.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of this stage, he got up to almost, I do believe, 4 seconds away from everybody else, which is unheard of, especially in the short run. And maybe that was something to where everybody else was kind of saving a little bit here. And, I mean, Kendall definitely looking very, very sporty at the moment as he's going to be able to slide right up in front of Kenny Powell. Jose Acosta, though, really hounding that 62, looking for any pathway to try to take this lead, and he's going to go to the bottom.
And just like that, we've got a challenge for the lead. That's something that I don't think we would have had barring that caution. That caution really did level the playing field a lot. Chris Severa now going to be on the outside challenging back for that lead.
Also, another person that was just involved in that accident that brought the caution out was Darren Mullins. He has now found his way up into 4th place, right behind these guys, and they're verging on 3 wide. They are 3 wide.
Chris Severa came right across the nose of the 42 of Jose Acosta right there.
What exciting racing we're seeing here. I'm seeing Severa getting a little bit loose.
Darren Mullins now going to be your 3rd leader.
I'm noticing that Severa looks like his tires might have been a little bit too warmed up there, as Darren Mullins definitely takes the lead and has secured it. Kendall LeBron still side by side with Severa, trying to take that spot away.
Yep, and here comes Jose. He's coming to the aid of Severa, but now he dives back down on the inside. Severa not able to bend those turns quite like the other drivers, and I don't know. I mean, it might be a little something to that, but with 10 laps to go in this stage, we'll see if he actually can climb his way back up to the lead, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and one thing we always talk about is those guys that try to get that monster lead in the beginning. I mean, you're not able to pace yourself as well when you're up there. Of course, Chris Rivera has a lot of repetition when it comes to these races. He knows what he needs to do, but maybe it could have just been a little bit of a misstep. Maybe even, like you always say, testing the limits in that first stage, because I don't think Rivera's done. No matter what happens here, I think he's going to still be able to drive his way back to the front at some point, but maybe just testing the limits here as he goes side by side with Jose Acosta.
Yeah, I just don't think it was what he wanted. I mean, nobody wanted that caution, but it was just unfortunate. It looks like he might be the one that pays the greatest toll.
100% as they still battle side by side. Jose Acosta really trying his best. You see the dirty air kicking off of Jose Acosta, gets Chris Rivera loose a little bit here. Kenny Powell trying to give almost some bump drafting, a little bit of tush push, as you would say, to that 42.
And then look at the 64, though. Now he is starting to exert his dominance.
Hey, he is gone. He's got about a second and a half right now on Kendall LeVron. Now, the more these guys third on back keep racing each other, the more likely the top two will spread out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's happening. Kendall is utilizing the opportunity because Jose Acosta and Chris Rivera have been really battling side by side. Now, Chris not wanting to yield any more positions, so that exactly is what took so long for Jose to actually make his move.
And here comes Josh Schaffner. Of course, he's the master of saving tire here. And he's going to hang out behind these guys, but I think he's not going to hang out for long, of course, considering the stage is almost over. Virgin on 5 laps to go here. If you're just joining us, we saw a caution that kind of split this stage in half. Darren Mullins looking like he's getting ready to get himself a stage victory if he has his way. He's out to almost 2 seconds now. Now, what an awesome performance from that 64. I guess a new paint scheme and exactly what that driver needed. Still battling, though, further back as Kenny Powell starts to put some pressure here on the 42 of Jose Acosta. Also, Chris Rivera, I do believe, has lost even more spots as he is now being hounded by Josh Schaffner. Here comes Schaffner to the inside. I think he's going to be able to make this pass fairly easy. I think there's something to that. I think that Rivera burned his equipment up quite a bit here. Oh, some wiggling going on here as Kenny Powell decides to dive underneath the 42.
And that heat cycle definitely didn't help him out any at all either.
100%. And this is really a battle for the second place position in the points for the Cup Series here. Of course, you mentioned a long race, but this is very important. If Kenny Powell is able to secure a point over Jose Acosta, that could go a long way to closing that little bit of a gap that is between those two in the points.
And I think this is definitely going to show a lot of other drivers out there that are paying attention, because you got to take notes, copious notes, that, hey, look, maybe that was an example of what not to do. Now, had that caution not come out, or, who knows what it would be, but it did, and that completely changed the running order here.
It did, and of course, I think you mentioned it as well. Darren Mullins has spent quite a bit of time on pit road, so I would assume he did take tires, and it seems like it is showing right now. But then again, he's going to be one set down, and that is not going to be what you want to do. As we see Schaffner now tries to go to the inside of the 42, Virgin on the white flag here for the stage.
And that flag's not even going to wave to the 48 of Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson in a different number tonight. Usually he was running the 99, but back to his old 48. I like it.
And someone who put in a lot of work on Thursday, of course, Kenny Powell, was able to succeed and grab the championship for that Thursday series, right, Big Al? And I mean, I would not look down on Kenny Powell. I would not forget the heart that driver has there. I mean, we saw him fight through a lot of adversity on Thursday, and I have no doubts he's willing to fight for adversity to secure second here in the points. Caution is out for the stage. Darren Mullins, of course, able to win stage number 1. Kendall Levron finishes in second place. Kenny Powell in third, gets that point over Jose Acosta, who finishes fourth. Josh Schaffner in fifth. Chris Silvera sixth. Greg Wachinski seventh. Eighth place Frank Flores. Ninth Paul Olson. Running out our top 10 is Chris Johnson. Definitely great job there to Darren Mullins, able to secure a stage win. Going to mean a whole lot. But with that, we will go ahead and take a brief step away, and we'll be right back with, hopefully we can talk to Darren Mullins.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgot.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
Or there, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel talking, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, great job for Darren Mullins to be able to grab that stage 1 victory. Of course, Kendall Levron actually was able to win the race off of pit road and now is your leader. But I do believe we're joined in the booth by Darren Mullins. How you doing, Darren? Darren Mullins, do you read me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, definitely glad to hear from you. Awesome job on that stage victory. I know you were involved in a little bit of an accident between you and Josh Schaffner, but no harm, no foul. It seemed like, did you take new tires, and that's what gave you the ability to drive up like you did?
Yes, I definitely got to apologize to Josh. I definitely didn't mean to get into him. I took tires because I really thought a few more was going to do it as well, but I was very surprised. I was the only one that took them.
Well, definitely seemed like that was the call to make. Are you a little worried about not having one set, kind of down from what you would start with here tonight?
No, I'm really feeling like that last stage is going to go green, so I got just enough tires to finish the race. As long as there's no late caution, I'll be okay.
All right, well, we definitely can give you congratulations on that stage 1 win. Hopefully we'll get to see many more, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you later. Seems like you got some speed. Who can we give a shout-out to tonight after your stage 1 victory?
Big shout-out to you guys in the booth, Ram, and everybody involved with us in the league. Appreciate everybody.
All right, we'll let you get back to it. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that was Darren Mullins, our stage 1 winner. Of course, the green flag getting ready to wave once again. Glad to be able to chat with him. We don't get a lot of opportunities to talk with Darren Mullins, but I definitely think that we might get to talk to him a little bit later as well, as the green flag is back out in the air. Kendall Levron wasting no time to go up through the gears. Now Kenny Powell side by side with Darren Mullins. What do you think the strategy is now, Big Al? Are these guys going to be running it hard, or are they going to take a lesson from what we saw with Severa?
I mean, right now, I think you still have to run your own race. You really can't get wrapped up around what another guy's misfortune was or what another guy did right. You came here with a playbook. I don't think it's time to throw it out just yet. I think you keep developing your strategy, run your own race, because if you just play your cards straight here, Brian. Everybody has a chance of making money here today.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody definitely has a chance to get some points at the end of this thing. For sure, going to be very important, especially for the guys that didn't make the race here tonight. As we see, I do believe Greg Wachinski trying to battle with Jose Acosta, not quite able to get there.
Yeah, Jose was definitely pushing up to the back of the 62. But the one thing, you just don't want your driver to you don't want your driver to put himself in a position that's going to take him away from grabbing some good points here tonight. So you want everybody to be extra cautious, and let's just have fun and let's make some money.
Well, here comes Kenny Powell. He's trying to make some money as he puts a lot of pressure on Kendall LeBron. Here comes Darren Mullins sitting inside of the 24. So battling in the top three, definitely happening at the moment. Almost looked like Darren Mullins was getting ready to slide up, but he was able to keep the car underneath him, and he takes over second.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that Mullins is he's going to have a little bit older tires than these guys. Even though he did come back down on pit road, that was a fuel only stop for him right there when he did come down.
Taking a look through the cockpit camera here of Kenny Powell as he follows right behind Kendall LeBron, and of course we have the camera of him as well on there, so get to look in the eyes of the guy that is right there behind that 28, and look at how close they are, almost bump drafting that 28. This is definitely a track that you want to put pressure on that guy, push him into the corner faster than he wants to go. I know I say that a lot, but this is definitely another track where you can utilize that.
Yeah, I actually do miss racing. I hadn't been in the cockpit in a while, Brian, but watching these guys out here in Vegas is definitely starting to draw old Big Al back towards the cockpit.
Hey, man, definitely get out there and do some racing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I myself took quite a hiatus as well, but have jumped back into the cockpit and been having a load of fun out here on the racetrack. This next-gen car has been getting better and better, and I also heard that they've actually going to be updating the tire model in the next week.
Woohoo! New tires.
Could be good or bad. We don't ever know. But Darren Mullins in the lead right now. What a fantastic performance from him so far. Of course, he won stage one, and it seems like that was not a fluke.
That was a fresh tire scenario.
Yeah, but even with everybody else being on the same tires as him, he's in the lead at the moment. Is he going to be able to keep it?
It's a long way look, we've got 24 laps, 29 laps before we get this. There's a long way to go in this stage before it's even over. So, and we saw the misfortune that Severa had. I'm wondering, had that thing continued to go green, if the field would have actually been able to reel him in. Because, he did hit a brick wall there when it came to speed. So I'm just I'm wondering about that. We saw it happen even on Thursday night. No one's exempt from that. I think you were fast, but only for so long here, especially if you're not saving tires.
No, I think you're exactly right. As we see Darren Mullins actually starting to be pressured by Kenny Powell once again. Darren isn't pulling away, and is that by design, or is he just, is he saving? Is kind of my question. But here comes Kenny Powell to the bottom, trying to get there, but not quite. But I think you're right. I think in that first stage, if that thing had went green, I think that they would have caught Chris Severa eventually, even though he was out to such a monstrous lead here at these mile and a halfs. If you start losing tenths over another driver a lap, they're going to quickly he's in standings, and he's doing definitely a lot of work to get there right now. You see Jose Acosta, the man he's battling with, is all the way back there in sixth, and if Kenny Powell can get a stage win, that would be a huge buffer, or should I say, it would help close that gap. And I think that gap might be almost non-existent at the moment if it keeps going this way.
Yeah, once again, Big Al's going to say still got a lot of racing left to go in this stage. Now, Darren Mullins is going to be struggling. I think it's just it's not a matter of if, it's more of a matter of when. Because his time up front, I do believe, is numbered, just for the simple fact that there is a disparity there. Those same tires that send him to the front at the last stage, I think, are going to send him to the back at this one.
Yeah, it could definitely be the case for sure. Of course, we talked to him a little bit in the interview, and he mentioned that was kind of a gamble in a lot of ways, him taking those tires like he did. But we talk about it so many times. Stage points can be even more important than the win itself. So Darren's got a lot of points because of that, I'd say.
Say that again. Say that what you just said one more time.
Stage points are sometimes more important than the win. I mean, I wouldn't even say sometimes more important than the win. I'd say all times.
We've seen it. We've seen it happen where even the winner of the race got less points than another driver because that driver did better in the stages. So, yeah, absolutely. And it's not a gamble because he actually gained the reward. He won the stage. So at that point, the risk, there was no risk. He gained the points from it.
That he did, and I think he's still looking pretty quick right now. Still might gain some points in this one, but still take a page from your book. Still a long way to go even in this stage itself. Of course, this stage ends on, 75, right?
Yep, like 75, 76 will be when the flag will fly. So.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Kenny Powell looks desperate to see if he can't make this pass. I mean, almost came into contact there with the 64, but you kind of don't blame Kenny Powell right now to want to try to take this lead from the 64 because he's being hounded by Kendall LeVron. And, of course, LeVron has had a fantastic start to the Super Cup season. He remains right now second in the points, and that's a big deal for a guy like Kendall LeVron, considering we've seen him struggle and have such bad races.
Josh Schaffner sideways there as he got in a little bit of contact with guess who? The 42 of Jose Acosta. Schaffner pedaled his way through that, man. Definitely getting him is getting some driving skills put to the test tonight.
Take a look at this. I think Jose Acosta might have gotten loose. Yeah, he's loose up on the top, came down, and just right across the nose of Josh Schaffner there.
3 wide for the lead.
Here comes Kendall LeVron. We're just taking a quick look back at that accident there. That could have been a big accident for sure. But definitely they are battling hard at the moment as Darren Mullins trying to hold off a charging Kendall LeVron and Kenny Powell. Chris Severa also has entered the picture as well. This has allowed both him and Greg Wychinski to come in and join the fray. I think this is going to be a big battle. Look at Kenny go. Kenny up on the top. Going to be getting a huge run on the exit. Not able to materialize.
And I know it's just only so much longer that the 24 is going to be denied. Kenny is doing everything he can to get around the 64 Darren Mullins. Darren's not giving him anything. But also think about it like this. These guys are battling really hard, and that is going to be only to their detriment because, I mean, still a lot of racing to go, but those poor tires, Brian.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think that Kenny, with him driving this desperately and this aggressively, I think that is not going to reward him as he gets really close to the back of the 64, and they are side by side, door to door for the lead. Kenny Powell, I think, gets a little loose on exit. That gives a little bit more momentum to Darren Mullins, and I think this will be a successful defense possibly. We'll have to see, though. We've seen it time and time again before as well, Big Al, when those guys start to run on that top side and they drop down to the bottom, the car does not handle as well, and I think that's what we're seeing from Kenny Powell right now.
Yeah, these guys are still battling, and I'm telling you, it's to their own detriment.
But what a fantastic race.
Absolutely. Kendall LeVron now sticking his nose on the inside. He is going to try to get around the 24, Kenny Powell. Cutting across the infield. That allowed Severa to gain the momentum.
Yeah, and we've seen that before as well. Those guys that try to go down there on that apron just does not seem to pay dividends as we see Kendall LeVron struggling with some handling conditions at the moment. He is not looking quite as fast as he was just a couple laps ago, and you mentioned it, that allows Chris Severa to take over that third place position. I think he's getting ready to join this battle between Kenny Powell and Darren Mullins.
Yeah, and Kendall LeVron's definitely going to have to figure out what is going on in his situation.
And it could very well be that possibly the tires. I mean, he was racing very hard with Kenny Powell and Darren Mullins, and I think those tires are probably starting to bark at him a little bit. Oh, whoa!
Right up in front of the 42 of Acosta. Jose probably definitely didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, that was definitely probably not going to be very appreciated here. Jose Acosta, not a man that has a whole lot of patience. But it looks like, whoo, that was a close one there as Jose Acosta takes the spot away.
I'm imagining Jose's probably throwing some of his best Spanish out of this situation.
He probably is. He ain't saying hola, that's for sure. I mean, that was a desperate move, I'd say, from Kendall LeBron to try to jump. Oh, contact! And Chris Johnson into the outside wall hard.
That was Severa and Johnson.
Oh, my goodness. What a hit on the outside wall. That is going to be a race ender.
Yeah, that was Kendall LeBron and Chris D. Johnson. Chris Johnson, the only recipient of a meatball flag out of that one. He is going to take the hook and be towed back. Pace car is taking his rightful spot in front of the field, and this is definitely going to mix things up in stage 2.
You see right here the 28 into the wall, bounces off of it, and just the 48. Nothing he could have done there in the slightest.
Races in a row.
I mean, imagine that. How do you think Chris Johnson feels at the moment? I mean, just considering he had a fast car.
You want me to pull him up?
I don't know if that would be such a good idea.
Probably would not be the best. I mean, yeah, he would definitely not be representing himself in the best fashion, I guarantee you right now. He's probably speaking Spanish, to be honest with you. But Kendall LeBron, man, he was way out of sorts for whatever reason. And I'm not sure if he had just kind of chewed his tires up or whatever, but he was doing everything he could to try to keep that car going straight. But unfortunately for Chris Johnson, it went straight right into his keister.
So terrible to see that as well, because we talk about 2 races in a row, and what we're referring to is if you tuned in on Thursday, Chris Johnson actually won stage 2 and had one of the cars to beat, wouldn't you say, Big Al? And
oh yeah, he had a rocket ship underneath.
And it's just unfortunate that, another chance at possibly getting to victory lane has just been taken from him. And I know Kendall, I'm sure, feels really bad about that. But, you can feel bad all you want about it. Nothing fixes that car. Sorry, don't fix the car.
Yeah, your feelings don't help my fenders.
100%. Kenny Powell, though, does find himself as the leader, as I do believe Darren Mullins has decided to go down pit road again here.
Yeah, your feelings don't fix my fenders.
That's for sure. And what do you think of this call, though? I think Mullins went down pit road and took some tires.
I mean, hey, look, if what else is he going to do with it? Can't take him with you. I mean, and right now, if he thinks it's going to give him a better shot at winning this stage, because remember, he was on older tires there.
Yeah, I'm curious how this is going to work out. I think he might only have one set of tires left.
That's 7.5 seconds, so that looks more like indicative of
just a gas, And that actually might be a really good call from Darren Mullins. Just take some fuel. We've seen that strategy play out before, to where you spend less time on pit road.
I tell you, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I tell you what happened. A lot of guys got faked out into going down pit road, and so once you commit it, you lose that track position. So I think he might have got caught up in the melee there, because you remember Kenny Powell and Chris Severa both faked the pit road maneuver.
That's a very interesting thought. I didn't even see that. Definitely glad you had your eyes open and were watching there to see that for sure, as we get ready to get the green flag once again. And I do believe we're going to have 11 laps to go here in this stage. Kenny Powell going to be the control car, going to be trying to see if he can't get himself a stage win. And the green flag is back out in the air.
Man, his car looked like it was almost on 2 wheels when he took off there. He launched that.
About to do a wheelie.
Yeah, he got a tremendous launch on that, just kind of leaving everybody else a little sleep. But look at Chris Severa go.
Yeah, Chris Severa definitely going to be wanting to try to get a stage win. Of course, he's not really in danger of losing the Cup Series title, but he definitely is also racing for the Super Cup, which is a long road, and every point makes it a whole lot easier. I mean, you want to have as much buffer as you can, especially in the Super Cup.
And he also put that thing on the trailer, drove it all the way here to win. He didn't come here to finish second or third or have a good run. No, Severa came to win. And every time the band gets in the car, you can tell that he is laser focused and precision driven.
100%, I agree totally. Of course, he is now our leader with 11 or 10 laps to go. Soon to be 9 as he drops down to the apron. Greg Wachinski looking strong as he finds himself up into 3rd place.
Yeah, guys right now are going to be feeling a little wobbly. This is where they're going to be trying to get their legs underneath them because now it's time to make that last dash run. And, if your car's not handling to the best because you did go through yet a heat cycle. And those heat cycles do affect the cars because this is a long track. When you're rolling around this 1.5 miles behind the pace car and the track temp's already cool, it doesn't do you any favors. I mean, right now, the track temp's at 71 degrees.
Yeah, you see Jose Acosta, of course, trying to get by Greg Wachinski. A lot of these guys are on a little bit older tires at the moment, of course, wanting to save them for that next pit stop here. And I would want to have that extra set to play with in that final stage because, I mean, with the cautions, we've already seen a caution in both stages. I expect we're probably going to see one probably in the final one as well.
And they were, just at the most, you didn't expect them, you know what I mean?
No, not at all. I didn't expect him in the slightest, but I didn't expect him, but hindsight's always 20/20, and a lot of times, especially this week in this track, when you get to that 15 to 20 plus laps on the tires, you really see the guys that have been really successfully saving the tires and the guys that have been just driving over their heads a little bit.
Yeah, I think Kendall LeBron is elected to maybe take a break here from competition.
Probably feeling bad for what he did to Chris Johnson, I would assume. Unfortunate to see that, and I'm sure that they're probably talking about it. Hopefully the talking is, not mean-spirited, of course. But I'll tell you what, this is going to help out. This is going to help out a lot. Derek Jacobs looking at possibly getting a top 10 finish here tonight.
By any means necessary, I guess, right?
I mean, a top 10's a top 10 as we see racing going on between Kenny Powell and I do believe Josh Schaffner and Jose Acosta.
Oh, and Greg Wachinski in there. It looks like Schaffner's going to boot. Oh, wait, sorry. Acosta's going to boot Powell, and Schaffner runs low.
We'll have to take a look back at that one there. Looking back at it right now, you see Jose Acosta, I do believe, on the outside. Oh, I don't know if he gave him the boot. I think Kenny got loose. And then Jose helped him along. Of course, Schaffner taking evasive maneuvers there.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Schaffner has to feel like a turkey on Thanksgiving Eve right about now. Or maybe about a week before Thanksgiving. Because, it seems like everybody's taking a shot at this dude.
100%, but he is the Iceman. Usually it's very difficult to make him upset. He hits the ground right back running after having an issue. He gets right back up on the horse, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Chris Severa, though, with about 0.75 seconds on Greg Wachinski. Of course, looks like he's going to be running away with the Stage 2 victory. Still a little bit of time left, but I think he is definitely feeling really good about his chances to get some more points to build that gap even further. Jose Acosta, this is going to be big for him as well. Of course, we saw in the first stage, Kenny Powell was able to get some points over Jose. Well, now Jose is going to get some points over Kenny, so this is going to make it very interesting to see how this all shakes out at the end.
Wow. And just look at how the times have changed. Darren Mullins, who was your stage 1 winner, finds himself hanging out all the way back in 7th place at this iteration.
Yeah, definitely a big change here as Jose Acosta racing very hard to get up to Greg Wachinski, and he has gotten to the back bumper. Can he make the pass happen as we have the white flag waving? They're going to come side to side for the stage finish here. Oh, Jose Acosta bump drafting Greg Wachinski here.
Not over, Jose. Keep racing him.
And there's the caution.
Chris Severa, your stage 2 winner. Greg Wachinski comes in P2. Jose Acosta 3rd. Kenny Powell 4th. Josh Schaffner in 5th. Frank Flores in 6th. Darren Mullins 7th. Paul Olsen in 8th. Derek Jacobs 9th. Kendall LeRon 11 laps in 10th. That is going to do stage 2. While these guys are going to be getting themselves some gas in Goodyears, we're going to take a step away, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, see if we can't dial up our stage 2 winner.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and what a race it has been thus far. Of course, we've seen nine drivers still on the lead lap. 2 are now 13 and 16 laps down. I do believe Big Al is standing by with Chris Severa, our Stage 2 winner.
Chris Severa, Big Al in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, sir, congratulations, first off, for your Stage 2 victory.
Thank you.
The question that I have, though, is what about Stage 1? What had happened there, sir?
Yeah, I was just trying to just go for it and see if I can pull off a big enough gap to where they wouldn't have the draft, and by the time they would even get close to the draft, our tires would even out. But just never got there with the caution, and then just couldn't compete. They still had too much tire left when we went back going there, but you know, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so we just saved the second stage, and then when we got that caution, we just went from there, and worked out for us then.
How's that hot rod looking there on the long run?
Well, it's smooth. I definitely think we got the pace on the long run. I don't think we're going to have to really do anything crazy here, but yeah, I think it should be a fairly straight shot to the end here.
Roger that. I'm going to save our talk here to the end of this thing because I got a sneaky suspicion And one of us will be talking to you, but before we let you go, who are you going to shout out here for your Stage 2 victory?
Yeah, everyone, gas and go. 3F Racing. You guys, as always, for putting on the broadcast, and Kenny for the league. Appreciate y'all.
All right, sir. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Here, good luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you at the end of this thing.
All right, guys. Take care.
That was Chris Severa, winner of stage number 2. He, of course, is going to be leading us to green here for the final stage. Now, this stage will possibly require a green flag pit stop. Of course, the fuel window is 58 laps here in the next gen. So we'll definitely be curious to see if we can get that toll paid, Big Al, as we always say, for green flag stops, right?
I definitely expect to see, like, the 64 Darren Mullins. I think he's going to try to run that thing all the way down there on fumes on gas. So I think that might be his strategy. Now, the next thing is, I don't think Chris is going to try to get out to a long run like he did, because he obviously you can't risk that, because green flag pit stops, if they do occur, that's going to be something that really pulls this thing together, because not everybody is going to be as lucky, because not everyone is proficient with pitting. Next thing is, you got to look for that late race caution, because I think that's going to dictate a lot. Pace car's going to be down in a way, and we're getting ready to take this thing back green flag race.
That we are. Here we go. Green flag getting ready to be out in the air right now. That's Chris Severa. Guns it. Side by side behind him is Jose Acosta and Greg Wachinski. Of course, Jose looks like he gets cleared for second place. Side by side behind them is Josh Schaffner and Darren Mullins. Of course, Mullins and Schaffner have a little bit of history just tonight.
Yeah, I think the key right now, though, is I don't necessarily think you run Severa down. I don't know if that's going to be a good strategy. I think you've got to kind of run your own race, your own pace. That's going to be really important here, Brian, especially if you're going to be able to make it to your green flag pit marker, whatever that may be. Some guys are going to short pit it, some guys are going to long pit it, some guys are going to split it right down the middle.
Yeah, I think this next gen with the current tire model, it seems like you're paid dividends from the overcut in a lot of ways. Not going early like a lot of drivers would probably think. Going a little bit longer. So you have the fresher tires later. But Josh Schaffner really putting some pressure here. As of course Jose Acosta has claimed the lead for his own.
No, I think that's the best thing that happened right there. You don't want Severa to get out there and get a real big run. This is going to keep the field together. It's going to keep it a lot more tame, I believe. And look at Derek Jacobs running around high on the outside. Derek Jacobs up to 5th place. He is running like a man possessed. Congratulations to you, Mr. DJ. You got what it takes to get yourself going. And then just like that, he starts blinking a little bit, but it's going to be okay.
Jose Acosta, of course, was able to lead that last lap, but now Josh Schaffner has taken the lead away, as we're now 84 laps into this 167-lap race. I do believe that is actually crossing the halfway point. Now, I'll tell you one person I don't want to have the lead is Josh Schaffner. If I was the driver out there and I see that 50 out in the lead, it's going to be really hard to get that back.
Yeah, but look at Derek Jacobs up to P4 right now.
He's running really well, been riding around right on the top side, but we've seen that before, and I'm glad to see Derek Jacobs running really well right now. But knowing how the tires work in this next-gen car, we saw it on Thursday with Ryan Strunk running up on the top side. It seemed like that burned the equipment up a little bit prematurely, but it looks like Jacobs has kind of migrated a little bit further down the racetrack.
Look, I think he's doing phenomenal, and my man's up in 4th place. I'm excited for him. As he gets a little loose there, going to get a little shove from Chris Severa.
And, this has got to be a huge confidence builder for Derek Jacobs as well, to have, this kind of success, this kind of speed, to be able to come up here and run with these guys. Because, heck, I know for my sake, myself, if I was out there and I was running with the likes of Chris Severa, I just would let him go. I wouldn't even try to race him. But, Derek Jacobs definitely trying to showed that, hey, I belong in this series. I am learning. I'm getting better as I go.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I quit running, because you guys always hold me up.
That's right. Darren Mullins, though, has taken over second place from Jose Acosta, as Josh Schaffner remains as the leader. But for how long? Because Darren Mullins definitely seems like he's one that is possessed to possibly lead some more laps here tonight.
Well, let's do a little bit of a ride along there. Let's jump in the back here and let's run through the field. Let's ride with Olsen first for a little bit. Paul Olsen, one of the G&G drivers, man. He is a guy who has definitely had his share of challenges in the league, but glad to have Paul back. He's a strong contender, and he's been getting better, Brian. We've been watching this guy since I've been calling, and I'm definitely telling you, he puts the time in. You can definitely tell that he's starting to get a lot better.
100%. No, I definitely agree.
Paul actually runs both in the Saturday night series as well as the Thursday night series. He's one of these G&G guys, so that's actually going to come into play here a lot now that we're actually tracking the points for teams as well.
Yeah, 100%. Great job to Paul Olsen right now. I think he's just kind of taking it easy. Moving up to the next driver there is Derek Jacobs, of course, who was running up in fourth. He now finds himself into seventh, so has lost a little bit of that momentum, but still a great job to him. Is guaranteed, I do believe, at least a ninth place finish as he goes underneath Frank Flores here.
Derek Jacobs, a member of the Bull Ring Racing team. He's over there with Darren and Randy Mullins.
Looking really fast at the moment.
Yes, he just got by Frank Flores.
Speaking of Frank Flores, Triple F, we all know him. We all love him. He is quite the character. Of course, he is another one that has gotten better and better as we've watched him kind of grow.
Always a blue light special with this guy, eh? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't ever want to bring him up in the booth if he's hot and bothered and upset.
Yeah, right. Frank does get hot and bothered a lot, though, but he's passionate. That's one of the things that you got to love about him. Guy from New Jersey, you know, those Jersey guys, they always have an animated fashion about them, and Frank Flores is no exception.
See, I always imagine people from New Jersey, you know, the Jersey Shore with the paint tan or the spray tan. I don't think Frank Flores is that way at all. He's not one of those guys. He's a very salt of the earth kind of guy, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Take a look through Kenny Powell's camera here.
And Kenny Powell just clinched the championship there Thursday night. Here he is in the Saturday series, and he is currently battling for second place.
He looks through the camera. He's got a big smile on his face, so he seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah, Kenny is the boss here. He is the head honcho of the ISCA.
Yeah, definitely. He has quite a few championships under his belt as well, and some race wins. He's definitely one of those guys that, you know, you expect to be up towards the front and fast.
Absolutely, and the only reason why I think he's not tonight right now is because he's just he's running his strategy. Next one, another G&D driver, Greg Wachinski. Greg running a little bit of a different paint scheme than what we usually used to seeing. It's usually more of a blue there, dark blue.
He's definitely been running more of a reddish kind of, I think, state or farmer's insurance paint scheme. Of course, he's actually, I believe, an insurance salesman himself, and quite the successful driver out here in the ISCA. He's got a couple wins to his name in the ISCA, and definitely has always been one that you could expect to be up front, but he does have a propensity to get involved in some accidents.
Yeah, but he has definitely pepped his step up quite a bit here too, though, over the last couple of seasons. This guy is definitely a true contender.
Of Of course, we just saw, I do believe, Greg Wachinski get my Jose Acosta. Now, Acosta's not a man that we really need to introduce, just considering he is quite a rough customer. Of course, rough as in he is one of those guys that does not lift a whole lot. He's one that always races hard. And you talk about people being spirited and passionate. Jose is definitely fits that bill quite substantially, I'd say, and always races hard and is always quick. Of course, brother Abner has always been trying to help him out quite a bit, and he's seen success. I mean, he won on Thursday night.
Yep, Jose, a member of the Pandareta racing team. And he definitely is another guy, like we said, he is currently battling Kenny Powell for second place here in the Super Cup Series.
Next up, we have old Chris Severa. Most championships.
The man, the myth, the legend, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Severa, the ISCA Hall of Famer.
As you can see, we got the camera up on there. And usually, I was kind of surprised because I've seen Chris before, his face, and he usually has a big bushy beard, but he has shaved it off. So it looks a little bit different, but man, he is definitely, maybe it makes him faster when it comes to being able to arrow-wise, I guess, Big Al. But he is always a very cool customer. He's a guy that comes in here and is always fast. And sometimes even he'll jump into the race and hasn't practiced all week, but he still is just as fast and is able to work his way to the front almost magically in a way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy could drive a rock.
Yeah, he definitely could.
Yeah, that's about all I could say about it.
Yeah, definitely a very fast driver. That is, his actions and his performance on the track speak for itself.
Freaky fast.
Next up is the man that is currently in second place, of course, father of Randy Mullins, who's not in the field here tonight. He has been running exceptionally well here tonight. Actually finished first in the first stage, and I don't believe we've seen him able to actually capture the actual win in the ISCA, but he's always came very, very close. Of course, I do believe he's in bull ring racing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very fast driver, has been learning and getting better, and I think a lot of the success that he's had as of late probably is owed a little bit to Randy Mullins. I think that they kind of coach each other in a way.
That's the whole purpose of that team concept. I mean, that's the way we grow.
100%, and he is definitely looking like he might have a chance to possibly get his first win here tonight. Of course, he's going against our next driver, which is Josh Schaffner.
The Iceman. Schaffner, another member of the Gas and Go racing team.
Yeah, and definitely always you talk about the Iceman. He's always a cool customer. He's such a great teammate for these other G&G guys as well. He's always one that is willing to put as much time in as he needs to get these cars figured out, to make sure that they can make those minute adjustments to get as best as they can. And, of course, he's also a winner in the ISCA. He's won a few races. Has not, I don't believe, clinched a championship yet. But knowing how consistent this guy is, there's going to be one coming. And even, I do believe, on Thursday, if he had shown up on Thursday, he would have done just that.
Yeah, I think that was the adversity that you were referring to.
Yeah, it definitely was.
The Schaffner right now leading this thing, as we are 63 laps to go, just 5 laps outside of that green flag pit window.
And wow, look at that. We were just watching Darren Mullins sitting behind Josh Schaffner. He's fallen back now to 6th place. Possibly the tires worn out.
Well, yeah, we're coming right up onto 28 laps on this stint on these tires now. And if you think about it like this is going to be the longest consecutive stint that these guys have run here tonight, because they've had cautions through the first 2 stages. So now they're running longer and consistent. I'll be watching to see exactly what happens, especially as they go through 35 and then through 45 laps on these tires, because some of these guys were wondering if they're going to even be able to make it to the duration of the pit window.
Definitely could be a question or something like that. Definitely a lot of these guys probably got fuel on the mind. I know Josh Schaffner probably does, because we always talk about that guy that's in the lead burning more gas than the rest of the field, but he's been looking very, very fast. Last time by, Schaffner was able to hit a 31.194. Chris Severa just a hair slower than him. And like I said before, I mean, even with Chris Severa, with his pedigree, you don't want Josh Schaffner in the lead. You do not want him in the lead, because if he's up there, he knows how to maintain that gap, and make you almost chase that carrot in a way to burn your equipment up more.
Yeah, and more interesting to note as well, Brian.
What's that, Big Al? You kind of stopped it.
I think I lost my thought.
We are starting to see a little bit of a gap starting to form. We see the top 5 kind of all right there within a second of each other, but Darren Mullins starting to fall back into the clutches of possibly Frank Flores.
I got my thought back. More interesting to note, Brian, that the fall off now is greater than a second. So these guys definitely feeling the degradation of those tires right now. They're starting to show its ugly head. And that's even going to make it even more complex. Might even possibly see a caution maybe.
That could be the case for sure. I mean, and you see even guys like Kenny Powell been running kind of closer to the top side, especially in 1 and 2. Toying with that line, or towing that line, and maybe trying to get by some of these other drivers, but that could also prematurely burn the equipment up. But you also see Chris Severa moving up a lane, probably trying to get a little bit of that clean air. Of course, clean air in these next gens are very important.
We are now officially inside that green flag pit window with 58 laps to go. They currently have 32 laps on their equipment, all drivers on the same pit cycle. But I don't think that's going to be the case for too much longer. I think we're going to start to mix it up a little bit. Or do you think everybody's coming at the same time?
Yeah, that's definitely a very good question. I think that possibly that could be a team thing. G&G, of course, has the numbers here tonight to possibly, cooperate and coordinate pit stops. Of course, Jose Acosta going to be a little bit of a wrench thrown into that as he's side by side with Powell. They touch. Those guys are racing each other very hard right now. Now, of course, we mentioned it before. We'll mention it again. Those are the guys that are fighting for the second place spot and the Cup Series championship. Of course, Chris Severa has already locked it up. Even without that stage win he got just a few laps ago, he still would have won the championship.
And these guys they've already touched once earlier, so I don't think they're done touching here tonight.
Where on the car or where on the doll did he touch you?
Point to on the diecast where he touched
on the diecast. I love it. They still are battling. I think they might touch again. They got really close, and here they go. They touch. These guys are fighting so hard, and you know what this is doing, Big Al? This is separating them from the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, they're racing to a pit stall is what they effectively are doing.
100%. Kenny Powell has gotten the pass completed, though, on Jose. I don't think Jose is done. See Jose starting to peak on the bottom, thinking about possibly going low. It's so hard to pass on the bottom at this racetrack. We've seen it so many times where it's so hard to get the momentum off of the corners. Here comes Jose to the bottom, uses the apron to get underneath. Side by side once again. And I think, look at that, Jose able to get a great run. He might get clear here, and he does. And here comes Kenny Powell with the crossover to the bottom. Tell you what, we don't need the rest of these drivers on this racetrack. We just watched the 42 and the 24 run.
Indeed, they are running each other, and that's the whole key to this thing. I mean, they have been battling like it's a heavyweight fight here between these two.
You would think it was for the lead. But no, this is actually just for 4th place at the moment. And it looks like Jose starting to pull away from Kenny Powell a little bit here. I'm wondering if maybe Powell heated the tires up a little bit too much, possibly. Looking back up to the front, we're starting to see a little bit of a breakaway from Chris Severa and Josh Schaffner. Starting to pull away a little bit here on Greg Wachinski. Now, one thing that's a little bit interesting about these next-gen cars that we saw at Daytona at the Versus Super Cup season was, the draft. In the truck and the Xfinity, you're able to draft up a lot easier. But in this next-gen car, the draft, if you're about, I think, a second, any more than a second behind someone, it gets almost impossible to be able to catch back up. And I'm wondering if that's going to affect Wachinski to where he maybe not be able to hold quite as much speed here.
Green flag pit stops are underway with 50 laps to go. The 27 of Derek Jacobs finds his way down pit road.
That he is. He's going to be kicking it off here. Going to be the first one. Frank Flores also 5 laps down. I think we missed that. What happened with Frank?
Like you said, we missed that.
Definitely be
packet loss.
Oh, no. Yeah, hate to see that. So, and then there were 7 on the lead lap, right?
The magnificent 7. Derek Jacobs down and away. His green flag pit stop completed.
You think that's really early to be coming down pit road?
I mean, right now they're on the longest stint that they've run thus far tonight with 41 laps. Now he's going to be punishing himself because he's still going to have 48 laps to go before this thing is over. So his longest run is going to be this one right here, and that's running to the checker. So I don't know. All we can do now is wait and see.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very difficult run for sure. A long one as we see Schaffner getting a little bit loose as Chris Severa tries to work around the top side.
And these guys are going to be catching up to Derek Jacobs, though he will be coming into the frame.
Schaffner, essentially, I'd say, blocking Severa there. Not wanting him to get around because he knows that if Severa gets around him, that might be all she wrote.
And Severa did say his car was really smooth on the long run, so he is only building up speed and momentum here as these laps tick away. And I think Schaffner's been out front for a while here on this iteration, and I think that might be to his own detriment.
Yeah, guys are getting a little bit physical out there. Of course, these guys are very good friends. Definitely, as much as they are good competitors, they're going to race each other very, very hard. They're not going to cut any slack, and it's because they trust each other. Severa actually does dive underneath and takes the lead. I think Schaffner just was like, hey, this is only a matter of time for this gets ugly. I might as well let you go.
Acosta coming down to the inside of the 5, Wachinski. This battle is going to be for 3rd place as Jose now finds himself up in 3rd. Wachinski secures 4th spot.
Jose definitely had a fantastic showing
Kenny
on
Powell, pit road.
Yep, Kenny Powell brings himself to pit road to complete his stop.
Schaffner, pit road.
Yeah, I think the whole point of that, I think that once Schaffner got passed by Severa, I think that's when he decided, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah, the 64 and the 43 both down pit road. That's Darren Mullins and Paul Olsen.
And now we're just waiting on Chris Severa. I do believe Jose Acosta and Greg Wachinski to bring it down pit road. But knowing Chris Severa, he's going to go a little bit further.
Yeah, and I don't really blame him. I would stay out too, man.
Greg Wachinski now to pit road.
So Jose Acosta and Chris Severa, the only 2 drivers yet to pit.
Of Of course, the gap between Severa and Jose is 2.64 seconds here. And I think, yep, here comes Severa down pit road. He started slowing down. Oh, this is going to be a close one. He locks up the tires. Did he make speed?
Yep. Good to go.
That was very close. And you know, Chris Severa loves to live on the edge.
Frank Flores is actually back in on the racetrack, so good to see him back out in action.
Jose Acosta still out there on the racetrack, the only man that has yet to pit. I think he's going to put everybody a lap down here. If a caution were to come out, oh, now here he comes down pit road now. Oh, that was another close one.
Yeah, we saw Jose actually practicing his pitting. For the majority of practice, that's all he was doing.
And that just shows you the importance of that. I mean, you know, we see it time and time again that you could easily lose the race on pit road. It's so easy to do. I mean, it only takes one little itsy-bitsy mistake, being a mile an hour too fast, and that's all it takes. See Kenny Powell and Greg Wyszynski right here kind of close to one another here. They can have it 4th and 5th at the moment. Chris Severa, though, is going to take the lead back, and I'm surprised at this, just considering Schaffner pitted before Severa did. Usually when you shortcut someone, you jump in front of them on a sequence, but it looks like Schaffner did not have quite as fast of a pit stop as Severa did.
Yeah, 0.3 of a second. Schaffner was in and out at 14.6. Severa came in and out at 14.3. So that 0.3 of a second really does make a huge difference, Brian.
And that doesn't even count the amount that possibly Schaffner might have lost down on the entry and exit of pit road. Because, I mean, you got that whole number together probably is more than 0.3.
When you saw Severa, I mean, he wasn't, no wasted motion at all, even just getting down on the pit road, probably getting his speed right there. It's all about precision. This is all very fixed, very precise movements that these guys will make.
100%. Do a quick rundown through the field here. Chris Severa, of course, your leader. John Schaffner sits second. Greg Wyszynski sits third. Kenny Powell in fourth. Jose Acosta fifth. Darren Mullins in sixth. Derek Jacobs seventh. Paul Olson in eighth. Of course, Frank Flores 9 laps down. 10th place, Kendall LeBron 64 laps down. In 11th place, Chris Johnson 67 laps down. With that, I think now is a great time to go ahead and take a brief step away, and we'll be right back with some more racing action.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgot.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so talking, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done here?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Racing has broken out here on the racetrack as we see Josh Schaffner under a lot of pressure. Jose Acosta all over the rear end here. We saw Greg Wachinski just get passed by the F42. Now they're side by side with Kenny Powell. Acosta, of course, being on, I do believe, on the freshest tires in the field at the moment.
33 laps to go in this thing. 32 laps at the line. Of course, everybody knows that. Then it'll be 31. But the point is, this is go time, and these guys are racing to an end that they haven't done thus far. Now a lot of guys are counting down from a relatively high number, where I believe the average is going to be 42 laps to the end of this thing. That's manageable. They've done that before, but you don't have any more time after that, Brian. So you really kind of gotta go now.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of Schaffner, Jose Acosta, Kenny Powell, Greg Wachinski, I think that's what's in their minds right now.
And I definitely think Severa is going to try to run this one out. I think he's going to try to get it as big of a lead as he can, and then just kind of wait to see if these guys are, if they're going to wear their tires out racing each other, and hopefully he'll just be able to cruise on into the sunset.
That's what he's probably hoping for, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, the last couple laps we've seen Josh Schaffner and Jose Acosta kind of been catching up a little bit here. Now, could they be chasing that carrot on a stick? Also, we got to keep in mind that there is the veritable of Frank Flores. That, of course, is a lap traffic car. I think Jose getting really heavy into the back of the 50 machine. Jose, of course, we mentioned it before, on the freshest tires out here at the moment.
That was like a Navy touch right there.
Wow. Jose desperate to try to get this pass completed. Contact.
Ooh, don't make it. Look at these guys go at it. They're not done yet, Brian.
I don't think they're done either. How does Josh Schaffner react to this? Do we have a caution?
I don't know. I think they're going to take each other out or one or the other, but I don't think they're going to just play nice.
Oh, it does not look like nice is the word for it at all at the moment. I think we're getting ready.
Look at Kenny Powell. He's slowly backing back like, I'm just going to give you guys some room here, bud, because I don't think I want to get caught up in this.
Heavy battling right now is Schaffner, trying to hold on to this position as best as he can. Can he hold on to it? I think he does. He gets the top side working a little bit better. I don't think Jose is done. Jose into the rear end of Schaffner. Going to move him up the track.
Ooh-wee.
This is when we get excited, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 30 laps to go, verging on 25 in just a couple moments.
I was watching a fight and a race broke out.
Those guys were definitely fighting. And right behind them, of course, Kenny Powell and Greg Wachinski fighting as Josh Schaffner goes back to the inside of the 42. This race is all but over. Or this race is definitely a long way from being completed, especially if they keep racing like this.
Yeah, but you don't want the caution to come now. It's too soon. You don't want to see that caution come out till it's about 10 laps to go on this thing.
I think that, we talk about how cool of a customer Josh Schaffner is, how hard it is to upset him. But I think this might be an upset Schaffner right now. Might have a little bit of beef on the racetrack right now.
100% USD. Oh, no, sorry. 100% ISCA beef.
This is definitely the focal point right now. Of course, Chris Severa hasn't gotten that far away. He's still right within eyesight of these guys. And every so often, they're catching Severa if they stay in line. But the more they fight, the more likely Severa is going to pull away.
Oh! So Jose Acosta hard into the wall there. That definitely got his attention, and that's probably going to slow him down. Now it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes Schaffner to make easy work of him, and if Jose will just kind of roll over and play dead, or if he's going to fight all the way tooth and nail.
I mean, who are we talking about right now? Jose Acosta. There ain't no laying over in that 42's mind. That man is going to race until that checkered flag waves. I think the question is, can Greg Wyszynski take advantage of it? I think that's my big question. Side-by-side contact as Schaffner gets tight on the 42. It's just so hard to pass on the bottom here.
The next time that contact's going to be a lot more deliberate.
And Greg Wyszynski, I think, is going to be entering the fray here as well.
You know, it would be a joy to be in the G&G's Discord right now. I can imagine Josh Schaffner's probably speaking in tongues.
100%. Let's take a look through the cockpit camera here of Greg Wyszynski as he follows along. This is probably the best seat in the house, wouldn't you say? I'm telling you, he's got front row seats to the Jose and Josh Schaffner title fight at the MGM Grand Casino. And next time by, going to be 20 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you're seeing here, make sure you give us a like. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. If you're possibly interested in joining the ISCA, make sure to reach out to Kenny Powell or even message the ISCA Facebook, and they will get back with you. So here comes Wyszynski up to the rear end of the 50 machine. Definitely going to be complicating things up quite a bit.
And if anybody's seen Don Avery, tell him to please call home.
Yeah, we definitely need to send out a search party for that 11. Because you know, if he was here, he'd be right here in the mix as well. Sherry, please get with us and make sure Don's all right.
Yeah, shout out to Sherry and Don Avery. And Robert Pattingale, too, if you're watching. Shout out to you.
Miss having you in the race.
19 laps to go before this one's in the books. Looks like Jose Acosta has made his way around Josh Schaffner for the time being. Greg Wyszynski now going to be coming up with Schaffner. These two definitely probably going to pair together here to try to get through the end of this thing.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to probably try to work together, see if they can't help each other catch Jose Acosta. My thing is, because that Jose and Josh were fighting so hard, I think that has helped Chris Severa out substantially.
Yeah, you think?
He's still in sight, but still steadily he's starting to steady pull away a little bit. I don't know. Schaffner goes to the high side here. He's going to let Wyszynski have his way with Jose Acosta.
Yeah, Schaffner definitely probably burned up a lot of those Goodyear surface area there trying to get around Jose Acosta. So, two things there. Number one, he's probably not too happy about it. Number two, it's just going to make his ride a whole lot bumpier here to the end of this thing.
Can Wyszynski catch up to Jose? Of course, I don't think Wyszynski was using his tires up as much, so I think he's going to have a little bit more left to see what he can do against Jose Acosta. I think Acosta has victory in mind, though. Even though he won on Thursday, Chris Severa, I don't think he's in reach. I think that Jose might be running out of time here unless he can add a few more horsepower to that machine.
Yeah, Derek Jacobs definitely got to be starting to panic just a little bit as he's going to start to see the leader, Chris Severa, really in his rearview mirror now. This time it's a little different than last time. Last time he came out on fresh tires. This time he himself finds himself, he's got 34 laps on his tires versus the 27 laps that Chris Severa has on his. talking about lap times where Derek Jacobs is running the 32 seconds. Yeah, he's almost a whole second slower than Severa.
Yeah, of course, Chris Severa last time by was the fastest man on the racetrack. He hit a 31.268 just now crossing the start-finish line. Of course, Jose Acosta actually was second fastest, so I think that Wojcinski might have a little bit of trouble trying to catch up here to Jose. We'll have to wait and see. Still, if there's any laps left, that means something still could happen.
Oh yeah, we're far from done with this thing. And that is why they make us run all of the laps. We don't do sample sizes in NASCAR, right?
100%. We are all about getting all the laps completed. There ain't no rain that's going to cause this race to end. For now, at least. Just considering iRacing has been talking and toying with adding rain. And, of course, mentioning about rain, I mean, and no wonder they are, just considering NASCAR is actually going to be allowing rain racing at tracks like Martinsville. Imagine that. Yeah, Martinsville on a short track and it's raining and they still out there racing.
If you got radial tires, I don't see what the big deal is. You're turning left and right. You've got, rear independent suspension. Road racers, they do road racing in the rain all the time anyway. Even NASCAR's been doing road races in the rain. So I don't think it's really going to be, I like the road race in the rain.
Yeah, that adds a whole other variable to it. I mean, you think about, especially in road racing, you see guys that their setups and their team might not be quite as quick as everybody else. But when the rain comes, that driver that's really used to running in the rain can win a race just because it's raining, because that's what they're used to driving.
And then you got to, you get into that facet where some of these tracks is not going to be raining the same amount the entire length of the road course. You know what I mean? So then what? And then you get into the dilemma of when do you pull the tires off? When do you switch from rain tires back to, I don't know. It's a lot of things that kind of go into that.
Yeah, there is a lot of variabilities variables that could end up playing out. I mean, imagine in iRacing, if that is the case, like if you're having a race at Martinsville or at a road course and it starts raining, does a caution come out? Does iRacing give you the opportunity to go down pit road and change those tires?
Just follow real racing rules.
I mean, real racing rules is it stays green and everybody just comes down. Again, that's all about. It's up to the crew, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a team decision.
Yeah. But 7 laps to go here. Next time by, Chris Severa has almost a 2-second lead now on Jose Acosta. Of course, what a way to end the Cup season, though. We talked about how he has ran away with the Cup season championship. Well, now he's going to end it with a bang. He's going to win the race. Now, it would have been cool to see him get the championship here tonight. Of course, we will see him get the championship here tonight. But it's cooler when we see him also win the race at the same time. It almost adds that exclamation point to it. Of course, Chris Severa being champion is no fluke. We talk about him being I'd say the guy that has the most of the Cup Series titles so far. Definitely very spread out throughout the field, though. Of course, Greg Wojcinski has lost track, I'd say, of Jose Acosta. And Josh Offner also has lost track of Greg Wojcinski. Kenny Powell, over 7 seconds back from behind the leader. I think Kenny just rough night tonight.
Yeah, Derek Jacobs, though, that last lap for him, 32.680. 5 laps to go.
Chris Severa working on trying to catch Paul Olson to put him a lap down. Of course, we have 7 drivers still on the lead lap at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think you'll catch Paul.
It's going to be difficult, definitely for sure, and I'm sure Paul's going to be happy with his finishing order here tonight. 7th place finish, not a bad day at all.
Yeah, if I was Paul, I'd slow down and wreck Severa.
Definitely, that's exactly what I would do as well.
Yeah, that's the play.
Make it interesting. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
What's Paul's cash app?
Ooh, yeah, Severa, he don't get no hush money.
Now 3 laps to go. Chris Severa just has just a few miles to go in this 250-mile race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, this has definitely been a great way to hype up the Cup race tomorrow in Las Vegas. Just hopefully none of these ISCA guys go snowboarding.
2 to go.
Two to go, and Chris Severa coming through 3 and 4 here in just a moment for the second to final time. White flag soon to be out in the air. And the next flag will end it. Chris Severa has it pretty much all well and sewn up, but then again, we've seen him on the final lap kind of step it out. Celebrating a little too early. We've seen that before.
He should drift it around the start-finish line.
He should.
If he wants to make it official. If he doesn't drift it, then I don't think
he don't
it's
win.
official.
He don't win if he doesn't do that. Yep. And he does it. Chris Severa with the victory here tonight. Jose Acosta coming home with a second place finish. Third going to be Greg Wachinski. Josh Schaffner, of course, going to finish in 4th. Kenny Powell in 5th place. Darren Mullins in 6th. Paul Olson, 7th place. 8th place, 1 lap down, Derek Jacobs. 9th place, Frank Flores, 29 laps down. 10th place, Kendall Levron, 102 laps down. And 11th, Chris Johnson, 105 laps down. Chris Severa, your Cup Series champion. He does it with a bang. Everybody comes up to him with a big congratulations. Isn't this a heartwarming moment, Big Al?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, okay. Well, let's take a quick, little bit of some silence time right here to kind of show as Chris Severa burns it down as he celebrates not only a championship, but an ISCA race victory. Some very tight circles there from Chris Severa. Definitely celebrating doubly so. As now we're going to take a step away. We'll be right back and we'll start our post-race show.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgot.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be joined in the booth by our third place finisher here tonight, Greg Wachinski, driver of the 5 Gas and Go Farmers Insurance guy. I mean, man, what a race, Greg. I mean, man, you kind of had a front row seat to one of the best battles I think we've seen in ISCA history. How were you feeling during that? Were you just kind of biding your time?
Yeah, I mean, I was always trying to save my tires the whole time there, but the pace is just, it's so fast that you got to, it's hard to do. It's hard to save your tires.
It definitely seemed like it was very difficult to save tires out there here. Of course, you had some racing on Thursday. Do you feel like that prepared you, significantly for tonight's race?
Yeah, I mean, I had pretty much the same strategy both nights. It just seemed to work out a little bit better tonight. I think Josh and Kenny, they're faster than me. It was unfortunate they burned up their tires, but they're definitely faster than me.
Well, you definitely seem good out there. It's definitely going to be a really good points day for you. Definitely fantastic job. Did you like Vegas here tonight? Did you have fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Definitely looked like it from our standpoint out here for sure. Now, I know next week's going to be Phoenix. Do you think you're going to have something for them there at Phoenix? I mean, you've definitely been getting faster and faster the more we watch you.
Yeah, I like short tracks. I like Phoenix. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes it can be a little chaotic there too, but it should be fun.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing you out there and at that 1 mile track. Definitely a very unique racetrack for sure. Once again, great job on your third place finish. Who can we give a shout out to after this performance?
Well, thanks to you guys for taking the time out to broadcast, and all that. ISCA, Kenny for putting it on, G&G, Farmers Insurance, my sponsor. That's about it.
All right. Well, definitely thanks for your time, Greg, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week.
You guys take care.
All righty. That was Greg Wachinski, driver of number 5, Farmers Insurance Gas Go Machine. Next up, we're going to get to talk to the 42, of course, Big Al, standing by with Jose Acosta.
Hey, Jose.
Hey, what's up?
Congratulations, sir, first of all, for you bringing it home here in second place. Got to feel pretty good. Solid rocket ship you had underneath you tonight. That car seemed fast from the get-go. Did pretty solid through the first 2 stages and then bringing it home in second place. How many laps did you think you put in this week in preparation for tonight's contest?
Thursday, I think I raced three more races, but that's about it.
Well, I tell you, it looks like it definitely paid off. Tremendous speed. We were watching you in practice as you were kind of working on your pit entry, and I think that definitely paid off as well because you had tremendous. You actually did seem to make up a little bit of ground around pit road, right?
Yeah, I was definitely practicing pit entry. Like you say, it's very important, and I was just trying to learn how to just go in a little bit faster, basically.
As this season comes to an end, what do you think has been some of your high points here and some of your low points?
I think the high points and low point is during the race all the time. I just have to know how to control them a little bit more, and that's it. I mean, I just trying to learn more about saving my tires and stay in line and just taking care of my stuff.
And now I must ask this question because I know inquiring minds want to know what gives with you and Schaffner tonight. A lot of hard racing between you two. I think you guys were kind of really, kind of touching each other inappropriately down there, don't you think?
Well, I had, I think it was like 2 or 3 laps, better tires than him, and it was that time of the race. I had to go. I had to pass him. He was kind of like slowing me down a bit more, and I wanted to get close to Chris. But he didn't make any easy for me, and I didn't make it easy for him either. So I guess we were just fighting for the same real estate, and that's basically what happened at that moment.
Well, I tell you, it definitely made for some interesting watching, and I think when you go back and you watch that, you're probably going to enjoy it. Well, we surely did. Well, next week we're going to a different place. Where we headed next week?
If you're asking me, I got no idea.
That's right, Phoenix. Sorry. Next week we head to Phoenix, man. Duel in the desert. What are you thinking? What can we expect to see from you?
I don't know. Just hopefully I get some practice before the race. That's not one of my I guess best track. So hopefully I get some practice and learn how to save tire in that track, basically.
Well, it's going to be a fun track, and I can't wait. And hopefully you'll do as well there as you did here, man. Congratulations again, second place finish. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight for your second place finish?
Well, shout out to Chris Rivera. He was fast. I don't really think I had anything for him. He was just hitting his mark every time I was watching his time, and I know I didn't have anything for him. I was hoping for like a yellow flag at the end, to see if anything changed. But shout out to him. Shout out to Greg for his third place. Kenny for putting up with with me and with the league, and you guys for a good broadcast.
All right, sir. Thank you, and don't party too hard.
Yeah. All right.
That was Jose Acosta, our second place finisher. Next up, we got Chris Severa, and we get to interview him and have him on the screen at the same time. Chris, what a race, man. I mean, you kind of looked like you were making a little bit of some mistakes there early in the first stage, maybe doing some experimenting, but I'll tell you what, you definitely had everything righted toward the end of this thing. I mean, what a fantastic show. And you're able to win the race, leading 86 laps. And, of course, we already knew you were going to be the champion coming into this race, but you put an exclamation point on it. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great. It was definitely a fun race all around. Trying some different things earlier in the run that I saw done in a couple races this week. Fortunately, it didn't turn out for us. Unfortunate caution in that first stage, but that is what it is. But still all fun. Good fight in the second stage. Good brawl in the third stage there before the pit stops. So yeah, it was a fun race.
Yeah, and it looked like you had practiced maybe pit stops as well. I know we're talking about Jose Acosta. Had really gotten a very efficient pit stop. You as well. And I think that, because usually when you see, Josh Schaffner, he had pitted before you. Usually when you have someone that does the undercut, they end up in front of the guy that they're undercutting. But that was not the case here. And I think a lot of that was attributed to how good you were on pit road. I mean, did you practice that a lot?
Yeah, I practiced it a couple times, but honestly, that one was just a bit of a guess because I knew I was entering a little slower and having to re-throttle back up. So I just tried it with a lot less brake on the second part of the transition once you get down there. And I just carried that speed to the line rather than trying to think about slowing it down and throttling back up. But yeah, we were very close there at the line. I think we were like 58 or something like that. And then almost through it coming out of the box as well. So it was a good in and out all the way around on the pit stop. I don't know what the exact time was, but I think we might have gotten a little lucky with that as well. But yeah, it was fun there, especially after that. I was just watching those guys in the relative, just trying to run their pace, what they were doing. Jose absolutely had a rocket ship in order to, not only get back to as close as he did, but also have to pass those cars and battle along the way. So I was just watching the relative and trying to keep that distance with them, and it ended up working out.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also probably was as a result because Jose was having to race very, very hard with all the drivers around him and, just ran out of time to get to you. I know for a little bit there, Josh and him, whenever all kind of in a line, they started to catch you a little bit. Were you concerned at all at that point that they might catch you?
Nah, not in the beginning. I was just really trying to conserve my tires behind Josh the best I could, and I would, take a shot at him and then cool the tires back off. And it took me probably a good 7 or 8 attempts to get around Josh before that pit stop. But wasn't doing anything outrageous. I knew as long as I didn't dive him going into a corner and make us lose any ridiculous amount of time, we would have been all right. We seemed to really be moving there before we had the pit cycle there. But yeah, it was just another, it was just another great race in the ISCA, man.
Yeah, definitely was another great race and another championship for you. Of course, we were looking at the ISCA Hall of Fame, and I do believe you have the most titles out of everybody. How do you feel about that? You know, you being the one that's name shows up more than everybody's.
Yeah, I just think that goes to show just how little I have to do on Saturday nights. So, yeah, I'm here, but yeah, it's just something fun to do on Saturday nights. So
You about to make everybody else
it's
cry because you're just like, yeah, this is just something to do. I'm just getting all these championships.
nah, I'm just consistent. Just showing up week after week and learning from the guys that all show up. So, there's a lot of other fast guys in the league too. So, I do learn a lot. A little something from everybody different, race from race, and I just try and take that from race to race to the next and build that consistency. And it's just been able to pay off in the last couple of years.
It definitely has for sure. Of course, congratulations once again on the title and the win here tonight. How you feeling about Phoenix? Of course, the big picture is the Super Cup season. I mean, you are the points leader in that as well, I do believe. So do you feel like this sets you up momentum-wise? How do you feel about Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix should be interesting. We'll see what kind of tire again we get for the short track. But I don't think it's changed too much since the Coke guys even went there last, or even us since we were probably there last. So I think it should be about the same. It's a fun track. You can get a little bit of the middle in 1 and 2 going. So we'll see what we can do.
100%. Well, we wish you the best of luck, of course. Definitely one of the favorites right now, but a long Super Cup season still to go. Who can we give a shout out to after this championship and the race win?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the guys in Gas and Go. And, I'm sure they know that. But again, a lot of the credit all goes to those guys. 3F Racing, trying to appreciate Chris Tate, man. He's putting in the work in their development program. So hopefully he can get back here and school me on this again. He's gotten really good at them short tracks. But yeah, you guys as always for putting on a fantastic broadcast, and Kenny Powell for putting on the league, and yeah, you guys again just for showing up week after week and putting on fantastic broadcasts. Just glad to be a part of it.
All right, well, we definitely are glad to be a part of it as well, considering you're in here and always tearing up the asphalt. Can't wait to see what you do next week at Phoenix. Thanks for your time, Chris, and congratulations for the third time.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that was Chris Severa, your winner and champion here for the Cup season 1. Definitely a great job to him. Jose Acosta, Greg Wachinski, I know Josh Schaffner definitely wanting to do a little bit better. Definitely a great job to him. Of course, Kenny Powell, I know there was a big battle between him and Jose Acosta for that second place points position. I would assume that Jose Acosta did claim that. But definitely a great job to everybody that participated here tonight, and we appreciate everybody out there tuning in. What a fantastic race, don't you think, Big Al?
Absolutely, Brian, 100%, man. Sad to leave Vegas, but...
I thought it was 98% now from you.
Well, I gave a little extra tonight.
That you did. We definitely appreciate you, Big Al. Big shout out to you. You definitely did an awesome job here in the booth. Love to have you up here, my partner in crime, and thanks to Kenny Powell for putting all this on and allowing us the opportunity to come up here and call these races and watch all of this. And we appreciate everybody out there in the audience as well. We couldn't do it without them as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. And, of course, make sure you tune in next Thursday. We're going to be at Phoenix, so you'll get a little bit of a taste of what Saturday is going to look like. 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast should go live. And about 9:30 is when the actual race will begin. Hopefully you will tune in and see all the different faces that run in Thursday, and, of course, the same faces we see here tonight in the Saturday series. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.